Hi, Sean.
Hiya.
I think everyone saw it was a really good performance against Fulham, but without the results. So what's the message been to the players this week?
A lot of good aspects to the performance. Just reaffirming that side of the game. We know we created a lot. We know we created good quality chances, which is always key for me. A lot of the performance was right, so it's more about the building blocks from that performance going into the next game.
I know you get asked about Dominic Calvert-Lewin every single week.
I do.
First off, I'm sure we all want to send our congratulations to him for having his baby.
Mm-hmm.
How's he?
He didn't, but
how's he adapting to being a father, and where's his rehab?
I don't know how he's adapting to being a father. I don't live with him, but I'm sure he's enjoying the process, like I certainly did. On his side of things, he's in good shape. Managed to get a sort of end part of his rehab done this week with a 90 minutes, and so he's in good shape and certainly comes straight back into the thinking.
Subject of strikers, Che Adams, we believe a bid's gone in. Could you tell us any more about that?
There's lots of conversations ongoing with a number of different areas that we hope to affect. No news at this stage about any of them.
And Neal Maupay, I think it's something like 39 shots in 36 games he's had. He's certainly trying. What more do you think he needs to do to kind of break that duck that he's got in there?
Yeah, he's worked very hard. He got into the right areas, which I always make clear to the players. You're in there to miss, hopefully to score, but you understand the reason. It's like being in the right place, going into the right places to score goals, because eventually you will score. And he's worked very hard last week at his performance, and you just keep going. You've got to keep going. That's what strikers do. You keep getting into the right areas, the key areas, not just him, other players as well. You've got to keep getting into the key areas to score goals. So we want to encourage all players to get into the right areas, which we have been doing. We're trying to make it about the team scoring goals as well, not just to focus on one player. We did some of that since we came in last season. Want to continue on that and building on top of that. So it's not just about one player, but he's worked very hard last week.
Right, cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, good to see you. Has it been a frustrating week given the result, or is it been one of hope and excitement given the domination that you saw from your side?
I think a little bit of both in a way. You want the team to perform well. You want the consistency I spoke endlessly about last season, because it's an important factor. And inside the game, the consistency throughout a game. And we were, one mistake for the goal, and that sometimes cost you, which it did, but there was a lot of consistent players, a lot of consistent performances throughout the 90-odd minutes. And then, the good side of that, so that's the frustrating side of it, we didn't win the game. The good side of it was a very, very good performance, I thought, generally speaking. There was other things, there's always details you look at. The fitness looked good, the shape of the side was good, we were productive, broke the play up, the stats were very good afterwards, because obviously your eyes don't always lie. They're normally pretty reliable, but sometimes you see a game differently than when you see the stats. Stats were very strong and only really supported a good performance. So, a lot to build on, and a lot of positives at the back end of a pre-season, other than the biggest one that you're looking for. The biggest positive you're looking for is to win.
So how do you ensure that you use that as motivation for tomorrow, and we're not having a similar conversation like this next week?
Well, there's no guarantees. You just have to work hard. Keep working hard, which the players are doing. Keep working at the details of a performance, because they're absolutely paramount in performance. Both boxes are where games are won and lost. The middle bit of the pitch is important too, but both boxes are where it's really at, and we've got to continue to find the right way of operating in both boxes. A lot of good signs of it again last weekend. A lot of good signs last season, not so much in the goal scoring department, but we're creating a lot last week, so we have to find that again.
You come up against a well-fancied team in Aston Villa, of course, who they themselves lost in some style on opening day. What kind of reaction do you expect to see from them tomorrow?
Yes, interesting way of putting it. They lost in some style. Strange way of putting it, but they're a good outfit. We know that from what they did last season. They'll be looking, I'm sure, to bounce out of that situation, that result rather, with a home game. It's important for us to remind ourselves of the good work we did and take that on to the Villa game with a very positive attitude, which we will be doing. Thank you.
Hi Sean, what are you expecting from Villa, and what have you thought of the job that Unai Emery has done there so far?
Well, you'd certainly imagine there's a reaction, because no one wants to get beat anyway. But certainly not the first game of the season. We know Newcastle have shown themselves to be a very, very strong side from last season, invested heavily in the right areas and made a very good side. That being said, Villa showed that they were a very good side last season. So I think you'd expect a reaction. We have to safeguard against that. I think it was Joe Royle who used to say to me, always says to me, get your retaliation in first. Don't wait for them to step forward first. So we've got to play on the front foot. We've got to take the game on, both home and away. I think that's our mentality this season, is to take every challenge as it comes, but take every game on with a real positive attitude, and that's what we're looking to do.
How has Neal Maupay been this week? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, I speak to him every day.
Has he mentioned anything about the online abuse that he suffered after the game?
No, that's been made clear. Our thoughts on that as a club, and I think everyone's thoughts on it, to be honest.
It's not often that players do bring it up and speak about the online abuse that they suffer. Do the authorities, do the clubs, social media companies need to?
That's for them to govern all that sort of stuff. I can't do anything about that. I only ever remark about social media for the players to be careful with it. Against popular belief, I've said it a million times, it never seems to find the power, but I'm not against social media at all. I just always say to players, be wise with it. There's a number of people out there want to attack people about different things in their life. Footballers are bound to be open to that if they open their accounts up to everyone. So I just say always be careful of it, be respectful of it.
Can you say anything about any outgoings? Maybe people like Demarai Gray, Andre Gomez, and
no news. No news at the moment. Thanks.
Sean, just a bit more team news, if I could. Any of the ones who missed out last week likely to come back? Any of the ones who missed the game?
Well, Dom's in the thinking, as I suggested. Yeah. Miko's still got a bit to do. Arnie's still got a bit to do with coming out of not really injury, but just that real fitness. But a lot of them got 90 minutes in the week, which was pleasing. And I think the only one, I think Andre's got a tightness in his calf, so we've just got to be careful with that because he's getting back to sort of full fitness. Just trying to get the base fitness right, really, for a few of them. But they're getting closer to what you'd call true fitness.
With regards to Neal Maupay, does he just need one goal to kickstart him getting going on a run?
You never know. I mean, look, the world of strikers it can be like that. Sometimes it's not. The main thing is he's come back very, very fit. He's working very hard for the group, and I think that's an important factor. Keep getting in the right areas, and goals do come your way.
Needs one to maybe go in off his back.
Well, yes, I mean, there's a lot, we've seen it down the years, sometimes you do need a break, one that just hits you and goes in. That's sometimes a way of getting started again. Ideally, you want to, I'm sure all strikers want one by design, good run, good finish. But he gets in the right areas and he continues to do that, and that's what we want him to do.
I know, finally, you've got a game to prepare for on Sunday, but obviously the Women's World Cup final. Will you have the chance to watch it?
Yeah, we were training, unfortunately, for the semi-final, and we've got the game prep on Sunday, but I'll try and catch as much as I can, and obviously wish them well.
Thanks very much. We'll go to Julia at Radio Mouse.
Hi, Sean. Last season, away wins were difficult to come by. I think from February onwards there was only one, but it was the Brighton one, which was the other end of the scale and one of the more impressive performances of the season. Over the summer and now, is there anything you're doing to look at away games differently in order to get more points?
I think there was a number of close occasions when we played very well. I remember one that jumps off the page from last season. It was the Forest game. I thought we dominated large parts of the game, played very well. As good a away performance other than the result. So, the fine lines are there. That was quite clear. Others we didn't. Obviously, we didn't perform well, but that one definitely was one. Leicester was another one. Really big performance against a top side at the time in Brighton. So, I mean, you're never a million miles away. And I think the adding the idea of the mental side of the game, adding the approach away from home, adding the belief factor, because we always travel well, our fans travel well and support us. And I think it's just layering up on top of that. But I think the idea is, I mean, it's not never that easy. You want the ideal mentality going into games home and away is actually the same. You want the same thinking, the same thoughts, the same belief in what you do. We obviously know statistically that's never, or very, very rarely over seasons is that the case. So I think it's building on last season, adding in detail, but also adding in the mentality to go wherever we need to go and take on games to win. And I think that's a physical thing, of course, but it's equally a mental thing. Going into whatever stadium with a total belief as a unit that you can win games. And I think we're trying to edge that way and trying to build on that. But you've got to do the work. You've got to win games to keep enhancing that thought.
There's been a lot of reports about Alex Iwobi's contract this week. Is there anything you can tell us on that? Any further updates?
No, just always open lines of communication. I've made that clear many times. I've spoken to Alex and the club have spoken to his advisor. Just an ongoing situation amongst a number who are still we're talking to.
I know you don't want to be drawn on incomings or outgoings, but are transfer windows getting even more difficult now?
Transfer windows tend to be difficult anyway, but if you're not got massive amounts of finance, because we've seen the numbers this summer. I mean, it wasn't so long ago during the pandemic, the back end of the pandemic, we're all saying, the market's going to change. Well, it certainly has changed. It's gone that way, a long way that way. So, that's become the reality of it. So it's always challenging, Money or no money, by the way, it's always challenging to get deals done.
And Chimiti, we're likely to see a debut anytime soon, and how's he getting?
Who's that, sorry?
Chimiti.
Oh, no, he's come in a bit delayed from his games programme. We got 45 minutes in the week, so he's still adjusting and still adapting. He's very young, but he's adapting to the training, adapting to the playing. So he'll be a slow burner, I think, but he's going along nicely at the minute, just settling in.
Thanks, good luck.
Thank you.
Hi Sean, just with Chimiti coming in, what's the situation with Tom Cannon now? Is he someone who you may be looking to loan out?
No, he's only just got fit. He played 45 the other day, so we'll keep an eye on him and make sure that he's well.
Once you maybe do bolster the attack, is he someone who you maybe look to get back out in the Championship again? Obviously?
Yeah, well, we're keeping our minds open really at this stage. We haven't got a big squad, as everyone knows. We haven't got massive numbers of strikers, that's quite obvious. So no, he's in the building for now, and then we'll view it accordingly as the window sort of comes to the end.
Just Dwight McNeil, how's he getting on with his recovery?
Yeah, he's going all right. Yeah, I spoke to him today. Just on the light stuff now, but getting back on not quite on the grass, but getting back in the running and really building a sort of true strength, if you like, to his ankle. But no, he looks well and he seems okay in himself, so just making sure he's on the right pathway back.
Can you just ask something about Jean-Philippe Cabaman? Obviously he's come back from Trabzonspor last season on loan. His agent said earlier this summer that he doesn't think that he'll play for Everton again, so is there any potential movement on him?
Yeah, there's no news at the moment, but he's not back with us at the moment, so we're monitoring his situation.
Someone who, obviously, with his agent saying that, you'd potentially look to allow to leave if an offer comes in?
Well, we'll wait and see, yeah. We need an offer to come in first.
Thank you.